Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to My T Sharp, the podcast, aka the Black Awareness Rally podcast. You could be rocking with anybody in the world right now, but you're here with us, and for that, we do appreciate you. It's your boy Pledge, alongside my main man B. We welcome you to the discussion.
What's going on, good people? Second episode up and running. Wonderful Sunday afternoon. So this week we're gonna go ahead and get straight into the Black Awareness Rally moments. Pledge, you want to kick it off, or want to do all three of yours?
Yes, for the community announcement. Happy to see that enrollment has surged at historically black colleges and universities, which is a huge thing. I think that as a culture, people are coming together a little bit more often. And I think it's a beautiful thing to see that, we are choosing to be educated by our own so we can go out in the world and excel.
All right. My community award goes to every and anybody that went out to see the Us film this weekend. We broke records, being the highest grossing original horror film of all time. So shout out to the entire community, culture, for supporting that, continuing to show Hollywood, Black stories written by black writers, directed by black directors, can bring and bank. Keep it up.
Yeah, I mean, of course I saw it, and we're going to dive into that a little bit deeper. We kind of had some different views on it, so it'd be an interesting conversation to discuss the dichotomy of how you saw it versus how I saw it.
Which makes for good podcasting. Just go ahead and put y'all on blast. Put y'all on the game right now. 2 out of 3 of my Black Awareness Rally moments come from that film. So let me go ahead and give you my second one. So the bikini contest, which again is when we recognize sisters out here doing outstanding things, being shining examples of black excellence. My award goes to Lupita Nyong'o. That job she did in the film, playing 2 different actors, or characters, excuse me. It's already getting nods for 2020 Oscar nominations. So I do think it's Oscar nomination worthy. Again, my theory for that Oscar nod is you got to play a role that's just completely outside of what you usually do, something that is strenuous, taxing, and who knows better than a person that has played multiple roles and be on film as a dancer, as I guess we'll call them zombies. Are they zombies?
We'll get into that.
Yeah. But this sister, she put in that work, and completely different characters, 2 different roles. So shout out for her for that.
Okay, my bikini contest winner this week is a young lady by the name of Simone Askew. She was the first black woman, first captain at West Point, which is a major honor, and she continues to do great things, being a leader. This week, she had a TEDx talk on which was titled "Breaking Glass Ceilings and the Costs We Don't See," which is a great 15-minute video. So if you guys get a chance, look her up on YouTube, Simone Askew, Breaking Glass Ceilings and the Costs We Don't See. I had the pleasure of working alongside her father, and he had some awesome things to say about her, as if any proud father does. But she's really out here doing her thing with her leadership at West Point, and she continues to make a difference and make an impact. So shout out to Simone Askew.
Dope. That's actually something I'm about to check out. I ain't know much about that. My Randy Watson, a.k.a. Arts nod for the week, goes to Shafiq Hussein. He just released another solo project that is a producer / musician / I guess all-around black brother. I don't know how to categorize his music because it's definitely not hip-hop. It's definitely not R&B. I'm just going to call it like our alternative indie soul, because he got everybody from Erykah Badu to Bilal, Anderson .Paak, quite a few people on there, just all across the spectrum of that indie scene on the project. So y'all check that out. It just dropped on Friday.
All right. Well, I'm going to, for my Randy Watson moment, I am going to celebrate the 20th anniversary of one of the greatest songs ever, and that is Juvenile's own Back That Ass Up. AKA the new Negro Spiritual.
I didn't see that coming.
Oh yes.
All right.
I was at a dinner with about 20 people last night,
Yeah.
and the consensus was that it's in everybody's top 5 of all time, and that's
Just for parties or just like rap in general?
just enjoying good music.
Okay.
And that's young people, Generation Yers, all the way to the baby boomers. It's just a feel good song.
For Juvenile?
Juvenile, yes. We've been backing it up for 20 years now.
Yeah, we have, man. Wow.
So thanks to the OG Juvenile who's still out here. He actually put out a new album, I think last week or the week before.
Oh, okay.
So he's still out here doing his thing or whatever. But thanks for 20 years of backing it up. I'm saying Cash Money.
Hey, shout out to Manny Fresh too on that, because Manny Fresh definitely made that epic drop. You just sound like the orchestra was finna make a wild splash on the music of some soundtrack of some movie, because that thing does sound real epic when you hear that first doom, doom, doom. You know,
and they got an announcement too.
Yeah, everybody dropped
That Cash Money taking over for the 9-9.
Yo, that's actually kind of funny and dope at the same time.
I'm pretty sure it brings back some feelings and some of some experiences that have happened, maybe 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago.
Hopefully some good ones.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, you can't be in a bad mood when that song comes.
Nah, I don't think anything else matters except making your way to the dance floor when you hear them first 10 notes on that song. Because I know I've been to plenty of weddings where that drop happened and everybody just started screaming, "Oh, bleep." You know what I mean? Like, just, yeah. So, yeah. Dang, I ain't never think of that.
Speaking of that song at weddings, I think that song was particularly banned from my wedding for some reason. Yes.
They didn't play at your wedding?
I think either the DJ didn't have it or my wife told the DJ to say he didn't have it. Because
I don't think Reese did it like that. I think the DJ just didn't know about it.
But I don't remember that song being played at the wedding. Though.
There's a clean version of it. There
is a clean version.
Back that thing up, with an A.
Yes.
So I'm assuming he just probably didn't know it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, it's
you got like 4 songs you gotta play at weddings. You gotta play, Back That Thing Up or Back That Ass Up. You gotta play what's that, Joy and Pain by Frankie Beverly and Maze?
Yes.
I'm
gonna see how accurate this list
hold on.
you.
This is like complete freestyle. So we got Juvenile's Back That Ass Up. We got Frankie Beverly Maze, Joy and Pain. Oh man, because I'm thinking.
Do you want me to complete this list for you?
Let's see what you got, because I'm still.
You got to
stuck.
play Before I Let Go by Frankie Beverly.
That's what I meant. Not Joy and Pain.
That's the old Negro spiritual.
That's the original. Excuse me, my bad. I'm slipping. That's what I meant. Before I Let Go. Dang, because I'm trying to think. Depending on where you at.
To Be Real.
Really?
Oh yeah.
At weddings?
Yes.
I ain't heard that played at too many weddings. Oh, BBD Poison.
That's a little bit newer.
It gets played a lot.
It does get played a lot.
It gets played a lot. We're going to Cha-Cha Slide.
I would take the Electric Slide over the Cha-Cha Slide.
The regular Electric Slide over the Cha-Cha Slide?
Yes.
But I think once black people's like, we got a black version, when you playing this other one no more. You don't think that's...
I think the Electric Slide is a black version.
Look, I work at an all-white school. We had a few parties where the Electric Slide was not played, but the Cha-Cha Slide was played.
I think black people might be mad that white people learned how to do the Electric Slide, and that's why we kind of moved on from the Electric Slide.
Like a
that
cultural
might be it.
Chicago thing that we stepping and sliding. Shout out to R. Kelly again.
It is more on the map. Chicagoan thing to step. That is very popular.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. Well, that's my list. What's your list? You got?
As I said,
we got Back That Ass Up. We got Before I Let Go.
To Be Real is one. Encore is a beautiful song to be played.
I don't think I've ever heard that at a club party though.
Not a club party, not necessarily, but if it's an older crowd.
Because that Before I Let Go and that Juvenile Back That Ass Up, they get played at the club party. Like you can play them in both environments. and people will still have the same reaction. So
Yes.
I don't know. That's interesting. We got to work on that.
Yeah. We'll and as I said, one thing interactive. Give us your top 5.
Yeah.
So we can hear what your top 5s are, and compare and contrast.
Yeah. No matter where you are, club, wedding, church, they will play it. Well, let me not say church. Barbecue. That's almost as important as church in the black community. So.
And I will say that due to recent events that my top 5 have changed. 2 of my top 5 have been forced to be changed. And B knows what I'm referring to.
We'll find out. We talked about it last week. Hopefully y'all figure that out. All right, let's get into it. This week, we are diving into Us, the film. We're going to talk about that, what we noticed, what we didn't notice, what we think the ending meant. Again, does Lupita Nyong'o deserve an Oscar for what she did? I don't know. I think she does, but look darn good. And what's up with Winston Duke's character in the film, man? Was he just really that bad of a cornball on purpose, or is that they trying to tell us, yo, this new climate where the sister's handling things and the brother's just out here being concerned with some inconsequential things like making sure your boat and stunting with the white dude from work is more important than your family safety. So let's kick it off. So for those of you who haven't seen it or may not be familiar with it, Us is the story of a black family of 4,
Yes,
going to the mother's old childhood home as a summer vacation home.
I think we should put out the disclaimer that if you haven't seen it, we're going to completely spoil.
Yeah, spoiler
this movie.
alerts.
Yeah,
Listen.
so if you haven't seen it by now, first of all, what have you been doing with your life? And then second of all, we just gonna completely ruin the movie for you.
Yeah, you had a whole week. You ain't got nothing to do with your life. You know what I mean? It don't take that long to see a movie that I'm sure you heard about by now. But further in the plot, the family goes to the beach house like normal. And this particular year, they decide to go to, that wasn't Venice Beach.
Santa Cruz.
And the boardwalk. And the mom doesn't want to go because she's had a traumatic experience, which is shown in the opening scene of the film. And stuff started popping off. All of a sudden, we see some dead people, bloody hands, and then later on that night, the family's out at the house again, and there's these random strangers standing in the driveway holding hands, looking like the Jackson 5 or the Four Tops, because it was all wearing the same. You saw the boots. I thought the boots was dope.
Are you talking about the Jesus sandals?
Oh, they was wearing sandals?
Yeah, yeah.
The
Jesus
red
sandals.
joints?
Yeah. Nah, there was like some brown leather, like, real Jesus-y sandals. Like, yeah.
Oh, dang.
I don't know if there's a correlation to anything with that, but yeah, that was.
Maybe it was free. I don't know. Because the sister started taking off running after the girl, the daughter. So,
yes.
And she was keeping. But anyway, getting too far in the weeds. So, Jordan Peele is the director of that film. He's a black guy. Looks like he got to start through Saturday Night Live. Had a wildly popular show, Key and Peele show, which is where I discovered him. And he went on to become an award-winning director for the Get Out film. This is his second film. It is a horror film with a splash of comedy. And he's come to be known as a brother that adds a lot of social commentary in his work. If you look at his Key and Peele stuff, there's a lot of social commentary when they're, dealing with blacks. And then in his movies, definitely a lot of social commentary. And we're trying to figure out, what did the doppelganger family represent? What's their real world connection? So I got like 9 different theories. Pledge, you saw it last night.
Yes, I did.
And I got to admit, I was kind of sad. My dog said he came away, he didn't see nothing. So he texted me last night. He's like, yo, I don't get it. But then he said he found out some new things after sleeping on it. So let's go ahead and get us started. Let me hear what you got. We're having this conversation first time on the air. I don't believe in prepping. We're just going to shoot it from the cuff and see what pop off.
Yeah, so I did see it last night. I was kind of a late comer to the movie. So kind of had a week for people to talk about how great it was and how it's just so important for the culture. and things of that nature. And honestly, I was a little bit let down because I didn't see it as. I think, it was a good movie, but it just didn't live up to all the hype that I heard about it.
Yeah, too much hype.
Too much hype. So maybe if I would have seen it opening weekend before I heard all the hype, it would have been a tad bit of a better experience. Okay. But either way, it was a good movie. As I said, immediately afterwards, I didn't really see what everybody was saying, but then kind of after a night to sleep on it and then think about it, today I do kind of see the dichotomy between the families. And the biggest thing for me, I think it's all about circumstance that you are in and how, we could be the same people, but due to our circumstances, we can live completely different lives. So that's kind of the biggest takeaway for me. I did see kind of the class structure thing of people born in different, economic classes having different opportunities in life.
Talking about racism?
I think racism and classism are two different conversations.
Come on now, this entire podcast is dedicated to that barbershop scene and Coming to America, where they just talking cash money about black experience. So I was extremely inclined to think when I went into it, this brother talking about racism. But, this is your spot. Let me see what you got.
So, yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. I mean, nothing too much to expound on, but that was kind of the biggest takeaway is circumstance and class. Kind of the different lives that people could lead as far as the opportunities that are available to them, the choices that they have, and things of that nature. So I'll just leave it there.
Cool.
I know you have a lot.
I got a lot. Well, this
unpack on
this all I do though. Just overlooking stuff, overanalyzing, contextualizing. You know what I mean? Hypothesizing. All the other sizes. I be on that. I definitely came away with the class struggle. I definitely came away with the one you sent this morning about being the better version of yourself. That was the very first thing I thought about. Because I was like, yo, these are doppelgangers and, they're trying to take each other's place. Yes. So I was like, yo, maybe they're just trying to say, yo, you should be pushing yourself to be a better you.
Yes.
And, bootstraps, don't just settle for beach houses in the summertime, get out here and do some stuff. But
I mean, she did refer to that when she was talking to her. She was like, you're wasting these opportunities. Like you get to enjoy the sunshine.
She who you talking about?
The main character, I'm sorry, I forget her name.
Red was the doppelganger. We're talking about Lupita Nyong'o's character.
Her doppelganger.
Yeah.
Which was a twist because it's actually.
Hey, hold on. We're gonna get into that. Don't do it yet. Not yet. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna work our way through these theories to set up what that part meant.
Okay. So, but she did kind of refer to that, saying, kind of the things that we kind of take for granted are opportunities that other people really cherish and make the most out of. So I think that is a big thing as well as being, us recognizing how fortunate and blessed we are. But
right.
For us to also understand that it's our responsibility to help those that are, to help others come up as well. So,
of course, I'm a geek, so a blurred, I guess, whatever the cool term is for that right now. But when I saw the film, I immediately thought about classism, as you mentioned, which is the people that have stuff and the people that don't have stuff, coming up to pop off and trying to take over or replace people. I also thought a lot about the quote by Dr. King, the riot is the voice of the unheard.
Correct.
Or the language of the unheard. So I was thinking of the people that were living underground as the unheard.
Correct.
Because that was definitely something Lupita Nyong'o's doppelganger was trying to emphasize. Y'all out here living and then y'all taking it for granted. Meanwhile, we down here eating rabbits, trying to get nourishment, and it's not working. We ain't even cooking it. We just eating them raw.
Yes.
They still alive, basically. I don't know if that's some kind of like white people diet or something like that, but brothers like to burn stuff. And so there was some symbolism in that for me. Another thing that kind of stood out to me is how each individual family member dealt with their doppelganger differently.
Correct.
So I was having a discussion with one of my brothers, Glenn, and he was telling me something that I just kind of overlooked. I was like, yo, that theory is super dope.
Okay.
Remember how the son was the only one that controlled his doppelganger completely by sitting with it face to face. And then when he ultimately had to subdue his, he didn't even have to touch it. He didn't have to fight, struggle, any of that stuff.
Yes.
He just completely outwitted it by realizing it has to do exactly what I'm doing.
Correct.
So he was the first person to realize that if you confront your demons, you can control them, right? Instead of trying to run away from them.
Now, does the father recognize that a little bit when the boat scene to where he purposely hits his head on the motor of the boat, and the doppelganger does as well?
Yes, but why he had to get his leg broke before he figured all that out?
Oh, so you're saying the son
Off
rip?
Because he even had the notice the little toy he had. It was just a lighter.
Yes.
But the doppelganger's face was burned from the mouth down. The son didn't want to talk about anything unless it was related to the lighter.
Yes.
When they were in the closet scene, he took his mask off. His doppelganger took his mask off, and he was like, "Yo, put that back on, because that's a real tough for me to look at." So he put it back on. So it was just like he was completely. Once his mom told him what to do, he was completely in charge of his doppelganger, and I took that to mean there's a monster or whatever negative side of your personality or yourself that you have to constantly be in control of, because you could just be out here doing all kind of unsavory things to other people or yourself and ruining your own life. So I thought that was one of the more interesting takeaways from the film. But Jordan Peele himself said it could have been a lot of things, but the most prominent thing he wanted to talk about is how we decide to other people, which is disconnect ourselves from them and then turn them into villains. And then because we fear what they're going to do so much that we become monsters ourselves, and then we attack them. So when he said that, he started putting in like a formula that you could substitute any kind of problem from society. And, everybody wants to talk about the political fallout that's happening across the world. Fear that immigrants are going to come in and take your life.
Correct.
Being an old dude getting replaced by the new generation. It was just all these different ways that could be manifested in the real world. So I just was like, yo, this is like real heavy.
Yes. And I think that's kind of the impact of having somebody that looks just like you, because when you can see yourself in a problem, or you can see yourself in a, in certain situations or whatever, I think it makes you more empathetic to that person and to that situation. So I think that's a real impact of using, the same characters.
Ideally.
And I mean, I think that's hence the name Us.
Right.
Because, we're all in this together. And so we're really not that different from each other.
Oh, it could have been an abbreviation for United States, brother. What you think?
Both. I think it's a...
Because it only happened in the country.
Double entendre.
Is that what that's called?
I hope I'm using that properly.
Listen, I just teach writing. I don't know how to write. I don't know all the symbols. And let me stop playing. Yes, that's a double entendre.
Okay. Thank you for...
It's a double entendre.
Because it sounded really good when I said it, but your reaction kind of...
No. You hit it. You hit it on the head. I learned that from Jay-Z, though, not from school.
That's where I heard it from.
Yeah, that's where I heard it from. But, I'm just... What you think about everybody's fallout from the film? Like, you've been seeing a lot in the news. I know you're not as into social media as I am, but I've been seeing a lot of split reactions. Like, a lot of people are saying, oh, I get it. This isn't just a horror film. It's a symbol to represent, relations in the country. Then some people just like, I don't understand. That movie was stupid.
I mean, I think that art is subjective, and I think this is a piece of art, and I think that is the good thing about when things aren't blatantly in your face. You can have, I think people should have conversations like what we're doing right now, to kind of discuss things. So I think that's the beautiful thing about this movie, is that it has sparked conversations where people can discuss and say, this is what I saw versus this is what you saw, and we have a conversation about things. So I think that regardless of what the director's vision of the movie was, I think everybody can kind of come to their own conclusions or what they saw, and then not only come to those, but have a discussion about it. I think that's a beautiful thing about art, it being subjective, to where we can get different perspectives from different, people.
Speaking of the director's vision, I ain't mean to cut you off. Speaking of the director's vision, he was on a discussion panel, and he was asked if he would ever cast a white dude, because somebody noticed that he hasn't casted white people as leads in his films yet. And he was like, nah, he'll never cast, well, he doesn't see himself casting a white man as the lead of any of his movies. And, of course, there were some white tears shed over that one. And I thought it was great. This dude is constantly standing up for the culture. Another thing I saw that he said recently, and I noticed in the film, me and you was laughing about it, is the way that Lupita Nyong'o's character was written and Winston Duke's character was written. And we're talking about how their personalities are represented. So Lupita's after she deals with the reality that she got to fight a doppelganger, she starts becoming braver and braver and braver. And she's like, yo, this is my story. I got to handle this. You don't get to make no more decisions. Winston Duke character.
But was she writing it wrong, though, my brother? Was she writing it wrong?
You get too far, man. Hold on. People trying to walk people there together. But then you was like, yo, why Winston Duke character was such a klutz? Why was his voice so, how you put it? Because I just want to say white bread, but that might be wrong.
I mean, I think it's, I think he wasn't trying to create a superhero. I think he was creating a normal, everyday father that is more relatable than what we normally see in movies. He wasn't the super cool dad, my kids think I'm, this super cool hero. Nah, he's a father that obviously takes care of his business because he's able to, provide his family with nice things like vacations and things of that nature. But his kids think he's corny.
Yeah. And you said something about his voice sound kind of lame or something like that.
Yeah, like I'm not terribly familiar with Winston Duke. So I didn't know if that was his voice or if they kind of
well, let me say this.
Yuppied it up a little bit, or what?
He was in Black Panther. Hopefully, you saw that.
Yes. Yeah, I remember. I mean, but he was like, it was like almost like
it's a completely different person, right?
A totally on one end of the spectrum, where you're this, big royal king.
So he was playing M'Baku.
Yes,
that's his name, M'Baku. He had all the bass,
yes,
and the authority. Yes. And the control in his voice.
And some humor as well.
Yeah. We're going to eat you, feed you to my gorillas. You're like, no, we vegetarians. I mean, vegans. But, no, I definitely noticed that. I was like, yo, they're playing this dude is like real klutzy. Like yes. He more worried about money and stunting.
Status as well.
Right. Like, which, that's American for anybody. But he's like, when it came time to handle business, he just was underestimating the threat.
Yes, and I think that one of the things that was pointed out to me, and I'm not gonna take credit for seeing this myself, but it was pointed out to me by somebody else, was that when the family first came to visit, everything that he was offering them was, oh, do you want my money? Do you want my car?
When they got in the house.
Yes, everything that he was trying to give them was something of a material value.
Right.
And I think when you're dealing with people who are trying to strive for new opportunities, they're not looking for the material things. They're looking for opportunities.
And
so
you're trying to buy them off.
I mean, because when you're when you don't understand the struggle, you think that that's what everybody's trying to get to.
Just give me some money.
Just give me some money. And so I think that's one of the things that his character saw different. And I think the mom understood exactly what these people were coming for.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, if you're robbing me, it must be something that you want. So what can I give you to make this problem go away? And they're like,
right. You can't buy your way out of this.
You can't buy your way out of this.
We need. So that's even heavier. These people actually wanted equality.
Yes.
So and representation.
Yes.
Definitely representation. Because even though they were doppelgangers, it's explained later in the film that these people weren't treated fairly. They weren't given opportunities to do stuff because of how they looked, which I thought was another thing that kind of tied into race.
I think that the term they used, they were tethered to
which is
other people's decisions.
If you're not familiar with that term, it's connectedness, a bond, right?
Yes.
So it's like tether ball. It's a game that most schools have in their courtyard or their a resource area, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
It's a pole, and it has at the top of the pole there's a string or rope that's tied to a ball, and then you punch the ball, and that's the game. It's called tether ball. But in the film, it was saying that these spirits or these people were tethered to each other because they were basically saying one soul, two bodies.
Correct.
But that's now I ain't think of the underrepresentation scene when Winston Duke was trying to just buy his way out of the problem.
Yes.
Because this dude never took it serious.
No.
Like he was just looking at it like this is a financial problem. Like even after his leg had got broken, he was still like, "Yo, just take the money."
Yes.
And his wife was like, "Negro." So this is why I was wondering while I was watching it. I'm gonna see it again, but this is what I'm wondering. Is Jordan Peele making a comment on the transition of power from a male-led society to a female-led society? Was that a dynamic that you picked up in the film?
I mean, at one point, he did say, Winston Duke's character did say, your mother... What did he say? She has all the answers, or she'll figure it out? Or what was the exact phrase that she used?
I missed that one because it was too small.
At one point, he did say that when him and the son when him and the daughter went into the ambulance truck.
Oh yeah.
And he just said, he at that
Your
point,
mama gonna figure it out. Yeah.
He just relinquished all hope and effort and just said, "We just gonna wait here, and your mother figure it out."
Yeah.
And so I think that was, and I think that if you see the dynamic of a lot of real families or modern day families, that dynamic does come to life a lot of times. So,
yeah, that film is heavy with a lot of symbolism, a lot of themes. It just kept jumping back and forth between a lot of different things. I was kind of disappointed that he brought other families into it and there were other doppelgangers, but I get the point because he still wanted to make it about America, not just necessarily that particular family. So, shout out to him for having the insight to do that, to be more inclusive in the film, because how can we have a constant message about inclusion and then we don't include them into, our works of art? Now, I love that he said, well, he showed that the family, although the family was included in the story, they were plot devices, which means the only reason it was in the movie was to help us get the story moving a little further. Yes. So, that was just there for us to have our characters learn more.
Correct.
The thing that you want to talk about was when the son noticed that his mama wasn't quite right when she went back in the house for the keys to the whip. Yeah. When she was killing she wasn't killing her doppelganger, she was killing the white girl, one of the twins.
Yes.
And he looked at it, he was like, yo, mom's is enjoying killing too much. And he was just like kind of shook because that's when he started to realize this ain't my mama. Or it is his mama, but something's wrong with mama, right? Yes. So what do you want to get to this part about the end of the film? Go ahead and let everybody know.
Okay, so at the end of the film, it is revealed that the young lady that goes into the House of Mirrors, who was, a part of the family, her doppelganger fights her and kind of takes over, and so her doppelganger is the one who actually grows up with the family. And you see that when the family goes to counseling, they're like, "This isn't my daughter," and she actually smiles because that isn't the original. That's not the same.
That's
daughter.
the truth. Like somebody caught on to it.
Yeah,
right?
so that's not the same daughter that went into that house of mirrors.
You're like, why she can't talk?
A different one came out, and so so I think that's why when all this stuff started to happen, she was kind of more in tune with what was going on, because
she did know
even though it was a very young age when she came out of that world, she was still cognizant that world existed, and so she was more up for battle when the bullets started to fly.
She was ready. You're saying
she was ready.
Adelaide, her name was Adelaide. That's the character name. That's actually dang. I got to see the movie again because I saw it on the night before it opened. Well, I guess opening night.
Did you see it on bootleg, brother?
Nah.
Did you not support the movie?
No, I actually went and paid $17. I went to one of them
premium
theaters.
Seats, huh?
Yeah, where you get the food, the restaurant / movie, the dining, cinema experience. But I forgot about that scene where she was in the window in the bedroom explaining this black cloud hanging over her, and she always get this eerie feeling. Like, dude, it's a great movie because Jordan Peele is constantly dropping breadcrumbs to kind of let you know this ain't the original Adelaide that went into the funhouse, right? And me just being so caught up on trying to figure out the social economic meaning of the film, I was missing a lot of just great filmmaking.
Yes.
So when you were saying that part about she was like paranoid, it wasn't because she was paranoid because she was tripping. She was paranoid because she knew she was wrong the whole time.
Yes.
And that she was going to have to pay for that.
She was perpetrating.
Right. And the husband was like, yo, none the wiser. He's like, yo, baby, calm down, baby. You know what I'm saying? Girl, listen, come lay down. Let me make you feel good. You know what I mean? She was like, nigga, you ain't listening.
I mean, which is our answer for everything.
That's not mine. Sisters, listen, when you come to me with your problems, I listen. Unfortunately, I turn in this counselor mode. And then y'all start looking to me for the other part that Winston was offering in the movie. But, it's whatever. But the brother, he didn't see it either because that's the only person he had known.
Correct.
And I went to the bathroom to get some relief real quick and came right back, and I missed that part.
Oh, okay.
So a little bit of, like when she went into the funhouse, I saw it. But when I came back, they was doing the zoom out from the rabbit cages. So I missed like 5 minutes.
But they didn't show anything besides her seeing her own self.
So I didn't even see her see herself.
Oh, okay.
So I just
they don't show it until the end to where you realize to where
something wrong.
The same person who went in was not the same person.
Now, what you think that means when we found out that Adelaide, aka Lupita Nyong'o, is not the Adelaide that belonged to the black family at the carnival?
What do I think that means?
Yeah, do you think that means it's just a sequel? Because the son, we got the scene with the son, the closing scene is the son sitting in the car looking at his mama like, yo,
I think it means
you ain't
several
right.
things, though. I think it means that
we're going to get a sequel.
I'm just talking about just deeper metaphorical meanings to where it means that, one, people that understand that there are two classes or two different worlds that people live in, they're more equipped to handle the real world.
Are you talking about the son?
I'm just talking about people in general. People who understand that there's people that live this way and people that live that way, and they understand both ways of life.
Kind of like a sensitivity to both.
Because you see they just happen to be white people of privilege.
Yeah.
They died off immediately.
Like just out of touch.
Yeah, because they just didn't stand a chance.
No,
because they didn't understand. But you have this person, Adelaide, who understood, hey, this is what this world's about. This other world, this underground world that not too many people pay attention to.
Right.
She understood
that she came from.
Mm-hmm. She understood that, and she understood her new life. And she was able to thrive in both situations.
Yeah.
Which I think is something that can point to how people can learn from other people, and other people, can learn and grow.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they learn and grow, they're even more able to handle and deal with the world at large.
Kind of pissed, man, because I feel like the movie is so large that you're going to have to write like essays about it. But then I even feel like essays ain't going to be good enough because we've been talking for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like we got...
And what's crazy is that as we continue to talk, more and more things
It's coming to the
are
surface.
coming to my mind of what was exposed. So that's why I feel kind of silly for sending you that text soon as the movie was over, saying, "Oh, I didn't get it."
Well, I personally, I wasn't offended because I was like, players don't really see these kind of movies that often. Like, because you usually see like the Johnsons coming home. What's the Johnson reunion? Are we there yet?
If I can't walk out of my front door and see it in real life,
Yeah,
I usually don't go to the movie theaters to watch it.
So he ain't seen none of the Captain America, Iron Man, Avenger joints. Except for your kids. Your kids probably seen it, right?
Yes, and I was thinking about that the other day. I need to, the reason why I don't watch it now is because I feel like whenever I watch something, I want to watch something from the beginning.
Oh, yeah, you too late.
And so I feel like I've come to the party too late, so I'm coming in the middle of it. I never like to enjoy something like that if I want. So I feel like unless there's like a prescription that somebody can give me to say, hey, start here and work your way through there, I think it's just too late.
You don't want to watch all 21 films?
If that's what I have to do, but
it's 40 hours, man.
I just need to know the progression of all of them.
You could start. And it's crazy. You would have to start with. There's a YouTube video with the chronological order of all the events or the movies, but of course the movies didn't come out like 2008, 2000. Yeah. They was jumping around in the story. So, and then honestly, a lot of movies are trash.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, so
you can just see the 4 Avenger movies, and you can see like. You got to see Black Panther. You saw Black Panther, right?
Yeah.
Although that had nothing to do with the Avengers per se, but just see the 4 Avenger movies. See Captain Marvel.
Okay.
And you should be straight.
All right.
And then everything else would just be on you to just enjoy. But we talked last week about finding R&B for people to listen to that just want to get into some companionship mode type music.
Yes.
I don't listen to these people currently because my taste is like super duper picky. Yes. Borderline elitist when it comes to stuff. But there's a brother by the name of Phonte, Phonte. He just dropped the album. Well,
okay.
It's like an EP, which means it's like less than 30 minutes long. But he's singing about relationship, everyday problems. You can check that out. That just dropped. Who
On
else?
a more popish note.
Yeah, who you got?
Usher. He's releasing Confessions 2.
That's going to be whack. The fact that he called it Confessions 2 already means it's going to be whack.
I mean, it's a tough album to live up to.
Yeah.
Because Confessions 1 was really, really good.
But how many repeat or sequel albums have you heard and you was like, yo, this is as good as the first one?
But the thing is that he's releasing it at a time, like we discussed last week, where people are hungry for that type of music. So even though it might not be the quality might not good, I think there's a market for it, and people are really, really looking to consume something of that, something along that line of Confessions 1.
Okay, well, there you got it, folks. Also, Leanne LaHavas, that might be a bit too left of center for most people, but she's a sister that kind of talks about real life situations, and she's a musician as well. And I'm going to marry her because she's that beautiful of a person inside and out, especially outside.
Yes.
And when I meet her, hopefully this summer, y'all y'all gonna see some pictures on Facebook.
Shoot your shot.
I'm all about shooting shots. Hey, shoot your shot 2019. Shoot every shot. Get your J.R. Smith on. Don't look at no shot and be like, I can't make that. Shoot it. Shoot it anyway.
Don't even look at the scoreboard.
Nah, just shoot it. Don't be aware of any game situation. Just shoot your shot. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cut it off this week. We're a lot shorter than we were last week by like 3 minutes.
Yes.
But it's just hard, man. It's hard keeping this inside of a certain time frame.
Yes, and I said thank you for joining the conversation. The feedback so far has been great.
Yeah, positive.
Positive. We look forward to hearing more feedback and your ideas and thoughts as we continue to grow and build this. We are building this with you in mind. So, let's say we do appreciate, the love, the adulation, your ideas, your thoughts. So, thank you, and we appreciate you rocking with us.
Peace.
God bless.